Should the Patriots sign Gabe Davis? That's what we're going to be talking on today's show, and also kind of the steal of the draft. In the 5th round, you get pass rusher Bradyn Swinson, who I think could possibly start in the 2025 season. But before we get started on today's show, if you're ready to see the Pats back on the field at Gillette Stadium with rockin', we got a bunch of months away, but before you know it, you blink of an eye, we're going to get to training camp, preseason, and then the actual games. So go ahead. If you're ready, hit that like button, hit that thumbs up icon, and we can get started with today's show. Welcome into Patriots Today. I am your host, Brett Alper. Now, should the Patriots try to go after Gabe Davis? It was kind of a shocker to a lot of people that he was released by the Jacksonville Jaguars just 1 year after signing a 3-year contract. And we saw the tweet from Adam Schefter yesterday, and it just came out of the blue. There was no rumors, no news like, hey, maybe this guy's going to be a cut candidate. Jaguars just said, see ya, bye. And we've seen Gabe Davis be very productive. He had a absolutely terrible season with the Jacksonville Jaguars last year, but they had a terrible team. Trevor Lawrence has not been up to par to what we expected coming out of college, and he was also injured the whole entire year. We see what he did in Buffalo. 45 receptions, 48 receptions, 35 receptions. He's been a solid wide receiver too, and then Jacksonville, with only 10 games played, only had 20 catches. But the one thing that I know about Gabe Davis, and I've seen it, and we've all seen it watching as a division rival, is that he is an absolute deep threat. Forget 2024. Forget everything that's happened last year. He's still young, and I mean very young. But his PFF grade on yards, on 20-plus yard throws in 2023, 99.4, 96, 98, 98. This guy is an absolute threat on the offensive end going downfield. And that's what the Patriots kind of need. I know Stefon Diggs is a deep threat, but it's kind of, is he going to be fully healthy going into this year coming off a torn ACL? Gabe Davis brings another deep threat to the Patriots while being a low risk, high reward. After that season, he's not going to go out and get paid. And even if he was going to get paid, the Patriots have a ton of money in cap space. I had to take a double check. I saw $67.6 million on Spotrac, and then I went to over the cap, and it was around the same. And I'm like, okay, that is a absolute ton of money. You can sign anybody you want with that type of cap space, because I don't think Gabe Davis is going to probably get more than $8 million. 3 years, $20 million probably max. And you signed Stefon Diggs, you signed Mac Hollins. They're both from Buffalo. Why not sign a third guy from the Bills? Just build that wide receiver core. We've seen how much it helped Josh Allen. How much is it going to help Drake May? I think a lot. So I would be considerate about it, maybe, but you have 9 wide receivers on your roster right now. What do you do with the others? You're probably going into 2025 with the usual 6 to 7. You're going to have a bunch of guys on the practice squad. But if you look at this wide receiver room, Stefon Diggs, Kyle Williams, who I think is going to be an amazing wide receiver in this league. Pop Douglas, Matt Collins, Kayshon Boutte, Kendrick Bourne, Jalen Polk, and then Javon Baker and John Giles. That's 9 wide receivers. It's kind of, I know we have a ton on the roster, but is that really the best wide receiver room? The number one priority was getting a wide receiver this offseason, getting an edge rusher, which we'll get to later in the show. But do you really think that the Patriots wide receiver room is 50 times better than it was in 2024? Do you think with Stefon Diggs it's going to excel to what we want it to be? I don't really think so. I really don't think so. I think you could add another wide receiver with Gabe Davis, and that improves and helps Drake May. But you got to get rid of somebody. And I'm looking right there at you, Kendrick Bourne. Right at you. You're 29 years old. Gabe Davis is 26. And if we look at the 2024 stats, they're very, very, very similar. 28 catches for Kendrick Bourne, 20 for Gabe Davis. At the same average, 2 touchdowns. Oh, but guess what? Kendrick Bourne had 4 drops. And Kendrick Bourne is 29 years old. Gabe Davis is 26. Still has a whole lifetime ahead of him. Wide receivers play into their early 30s. We know Stefon Diggs is getting up there in age, but Gabe Davis, I know you had one bad year, but you still got a lot of potential ahead of you. They're both injured. Gabe Davis coming off the injury, I think if he's fully healthy, he could be that guy to help build this Patriots wide receiver room. So you guys saw it in my video yesterday. I had a trade, so I'm going to bring this back up. You signed Craig Woodson or drafted Craig Woodson at safety, so you can get rid of Jalen Hawkins, Kendrick Bourne, and you get a 4th-round pick. And then you sign Gabe Davis. I think that would help the Patriots an absolute ton because you get rid of Kendrick Bourne, who kind of has not been productive as of late. Mike Vrabel wants to change this culture in New England. And you get a similar wide receiver with Gabe Davis with higher potential, a higher ceiling, because Gabe Davis is only 26 years old. He still has a ton of career ahead of him. And honestly, everything that we saw back that Chiefs-Bills game from 2021 playoffs, never forget that performance. Ever. That was it was probably one of the most exciting playoff games that I've watched, besides nothing beats this season right here. The 2014 Patriots-Ravens game, which I was at. That throw to Brandon LaFell was absolutely amazing. That's the best playoff game, or the Chiefs-Patriots game in 2018. But if we're talking non-Patriots, just Gabe Davis' performance makes we could get that type of player. So if you can sign him for a low-end contract, I would 100% do it. But if he wants all that money, then I'm not about it. What about you guys? What do you think? Would you sign Gabe Davis to a contract, bring him here in New England, make him the 3rd former Buffalo Bills receiver to have in the Patriots locker room? Now, coming up on the show, we're going to talk about the steal of the draft. What I think is the steal, because Bradyn Swinson was not supposed to be there in the 5th round. But before we get into it, I got to tell you about our sponsor of today's show, and that is our friends at Fanatics. And you can get your Will Campbell jerseys. I don't see a lot of people with offensive line, but this is the 4th pick in the draft. He's going to be a great player. He just chose the number 66. I love an offensive lineman that has 66 on his jersey. Chatsports.com/Will Campbell. Support the show. Support the Patriots. Get your jersey today. We'll also put it in the comments section of today's video. All right. Now, is 5th-round pick Bradyn Swinson the steal of the draft? You know the Patriots needed an edge rusher, and I really thought they were going to go with one in the earlier rounds. That's why I was kind of like, don't draft Travion Henderson. Get your wide receiver. And then in the 3rd round, get your edge rusher. But after watching the Patriots draft, Kyle Williams in the 3rd is great. And Bradyn Swinson in the 5th is even better. He's 6'3", 255 pounds, 59 tackles, 8.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. This guy has just gotten better and better and better over the years. And a lot of people thought that he was going to go a lot earlier. 5th round, 146. He was projected to be around a 3rd-round pick. He was picked 78 picks later than expected. 78 picks of what the NFL draft experts had to say. And this is what his edge coach at LSU had to say about Bradyn Swinson. He's got pass rush skills. He has the ability to get to the quarterback. That's a trait that obviously people are looking for. But the biggest thing about him is he is a very intelligent football player. He's able to make in-game adjustments. I mean, he's locked in. So a combination of his ability to rush the quarterback and then his football intelligence and ability to be locked into a game with no situation being too big for him. That's what you get when you play in the SEC, when you play that Power 4, it's Power 4 football now. You get a guy that's going to be able to get to the quarterback, playing against NFL talent, and over the years, I mean, he's just gotten absolutely better. 2022 with Oregon, 8 tackles, 10 pressures. Then in 2023 with LSU, 35 tackles, 22 pressures, 2 forced fumbles. But in 2024, I mean, 59 tackles, 13 for loss, 8.5 sacks, 60 pressures. That's what I look at the most. It's not all about the sacks. If you can tackle the quarterback, but if you can get to the quarterback and make him kind of not get a good pass off. 60 pressures is incredible. And when you look at his PFF stats, they've just gotten better and better over the years. 73 in 2022, 81 in 23, 83 in 24. Pass rush grade was 90.3. 90.3. And you can see it. He doubled up in defensive snaps from 23 to 24. His pass rush snaps went up. His run defense snaps went up. And his sacks just went absolutely incredible. 43 hurries. That is an amazing stat right there. But the question is, will he start? The Patriots improved their edge rushers. You have Anthony Jennings. You bring in Harold Landry, who's reunited with Mike Vrabel from his time in Tennessee. And when he was with Mike Vrabel, this dude was a dog. Then you have Keon White and now Bradyn Swinson. The Patriots were dead last in sacks in 2024. Dead last. But I truly think with the veteran leadership that they have on this team, especially signing Harold Landry, I think Swinson won't start off the bat. He'll be in the rotation. We'll see him on the field a lot. But as a fifth-round draft pick, I don't expect him to be a full-on starter in year one. I expect him to, just like he did in college, sit back, learn everything about the NFL game because you have the tangibles, you have the measurables, you have that potential to be a top edge rusher in this league. But Mike Vrabel's going to let him learn. And what better guy to learn from than a pass rusher himself in Vrabel? Do you guys want Bradyn Swinson to start? I know we didn't see a lot of sacks in 2024 with the Patriots. If you want him to start, go ahead and hit that thumbs up icon, like the video. Also, don't forget to subscribe. We're on our way to 26,000 subscribers, and you can go ahead and give me a follow on Twitter. I'm talking Patriots all the time, @TheRealAlper, and you can also follow me on Instagram, same handle, @TheRealAlper. That's going to do it for today's episode of Patriots Today. I'm your host, Brett Alper, and as always, let's go Pats.